just don't fit in everything.
I didn't know there were 4A batteries. But ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are live right here. That's right, live from the TETC Ballroom. Adam and I just finished a co-keynote. We're doing some live sessions of the Undisrupted podcast this year, of course, all on the road. Adam,
Yes.
before we invite our guest up here, opening debate. Um, Thinking about the other day, we were talking about video games, and I was talking to my kids about it because they really got into the Zelda Breath of the Wild, which was really fun. We do a little bit of Mario Karting.
Hmm.
What's your favorite? Your favorite video game of all time? Like if you go back in time, all time, what's your favorite video game? And it could be it could be in the coin op days with the quarters.
Yeah.
Some of you out there might know what we're talking about. They don't have they still
Like,
have those.
when I think about video games, and I still play on my Xbox with my buddies from college and stuff, but I got to go back to the game that I spent countless hours playing because growing up we didn't have a lot of money, so when I got my Nintendo, I played Mario so many
My
hours
thumbs hurt.
of my
Yep.
life because I look forward to renting a game on the weekend. Maybe going to Blockbuster or the
Oh, I
gallery and
remember that.
renting a game for the weekend and trying to beat the game and all that. But Mario, when I think about, I can see the first level in my brain. I mean, I can play that whole level, hit the mushroom, get the thing, the Goomba, then I'm gonna get the fire.
Yep.
Yeah, that to me, that's just like it's video game perfection.
Yeah. I have two in my head, so I'll give you the first one was when I used to go to the arcade. There's a game called Burger Time that I absolutely loved. And it was basically this little chef, and he'd run around. And he had to make little hamburgers, and there's like eggs and stuff following him. That was an easy one. But if I go a little bit further on in life, when I got one of my first PCs, this is back in the late '90s. Diablo 2 was a
Mm.
game you would take. I must have spent, I mean, obscene amount of time playing that game instead of like grading papers back in
Yeah,
my teaching days. And I would get home and I couldn't wait to just play Diablo. And Diablo was, I mean, that was just iconic.
I forgot about those games. Yeah, because I when in college, I was playing StarCraft. We were,
Yes.
that was like the same.
StarCraft was a
Yeah.
big one. Warcraft, StarCraft. But enough about us because, folks, we have a special guest with us here, Mr. Sam Brooks. Sam, tell us a little bit about yourself. And then, of course, we want to know what was your favorite video game of all time?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this while you guys were talking about it. But yeah, my name is Sam Brooks. I'm the new regional director for Vol State Community College in Cookeville. Actually, the main campus is in Gallatin, and we have a campus in Cookeville and in Livingston, Tennessee, which I'm now the director of both of those.
Nice.
Awesome. And video game, if you think back,
Man, coin operated asteroids.
uh, just simple.
Simple.
There was a one where you like basically sit in the middle of the screen, right? And they
Can't
come
go.
at you.
Yeah, you can't go any. Well, if you get a level up, you get better. Then you
You
get
can fly
thrust,
around.
and you can fly around. Yeah.
Yeah,
Coin. We should do this next time. Just have like just coin op and just versus like home console. Because we said coin op. I'm thinking about like Galaga.
yeah.
Oh, Gallagher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like get
Space Invaders.
yeah.
Yes.
Donkey Kong.
Yes.
We're dating ourselves here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely am.
So before you got into this role, I mean, I've known you from your years at Putnam,
Yes.
and so making this change, tell me a little bit about that. Like, what was going K-12 to higher ed? What were some of the kind of the ahas moments that you noticed about the differences of the two? Because I think last time you and I spoke, you were just in the
Yeah.
process of switching those roles.
Yeah, and I've gone from being future ready supervisor in Putnam County Schools, is where I got to see you at a lot of the conference and got to know you guys and follow you guys, um, to higher ed now, to where I'm more of a director of the entire program. And it's still a lot to do. We have a lot of online teaching still going in K-12 and also now in higher ed. So um, some of the job is similar to what
Okay.
it used to be in the past, but now it's more of a management of all the different things that are going on. But on the ed tech side, there's a lot of similarities between what I did before and what I'm doing now. And I think that's something that's kind of changing a little bit is the ed tech in higher ed spectrum. And now you would think it would be the other way around.
Yeah.
But from what I've noticed in higher ed so far, there's a lot of great things going on in K-12 that's now flowing up to the higher ed. Because I think K-12 is more of a trial ground.
Right.
Yeah.
Proof of concept.
Yeah,
Yeah.
proof of concept, and then and a lot of the teachers that are in the K-12 world also adjunct in the higher ed world. So you're getting a lot of transition
Crossover.
from
Yeah.
crossover, yeah,
Yeah.
from one to another, which has been really interesting for me. And I think the higher ed side is definitely seems to be a little bit more siloed. So everybody's kind of responsible for a certain thing in their job, and that's what they know, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
And it's not so in K-12, you wear a lot more hats
Yes.
than you do in higher ed. That's been aha for me 5 weeks in.
Yeah.
Yeah, elementary teachers out there could be sitting there nodding their heads at God doing every subject area
Exactly.
versus a professor who comes in maybe a couple times. They do their one subject, they're tenured, they've written about it, they know about it, they're published, and that's all
Exactly.
they're going to do.
You forgot about the lunch duty, the bus duty,
Duty,
the
yeah,
Yeah,
restaurant line duty.
I wasn't going there, but that's a big
parent
difference. Yeah.
teacher conferences, fire drills. They do any of that in college? No,
Yeah, not like they do in
not like the
K-12.
K-12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so now, I mean, you've done the K-12, now you're doing the higher ed, and I know it's the new transition in this point, but what are some gaps that you think higher ed can fill with the incoming crop of teachers that we're having? Because we're seeing um, the field changing. We're seeing, changing of the guard, if you will, in some cases. So, like, what are some spaces that higher ed can really just help increase the capacity of our incoming teachers?
Well, I think, the days of going through a higher ed prep program has changed
Mm,
from what, if you don't include ed tech and the use of ed tech in what you're training teachers to do, then those students are really missing out.
yeah.
And so I think that's what's changing the most is what are the expectations of K-12 teachers nowadays? And when someone goes into school to become a teacher, I think it looks a lot different than it did when we went through there. And so using certain apps and programs, whatever exists out there, but in a way that's going to move students toward the goals that are represented in the classroom is really what a lot of schools are concentrating more on now than rather than just management of a class.
Yeah.
So just a little bit that I've been in there and knowing what's coming out, and then also creating opportunities for collaboration between the two.
Hmm.
A lot of times K-12 had no idea what higher ed was doing. Higher ed had no
Right.
idea what K-12 was doing. And when I roll into this position, I'm like, how does that even happen?
Yeah.
Because they should be kind of a unifying factor for education from one level to another. And I think there's a lot of emphasis going on that now. And you talked about in the keynote today, and you guys did a fantastic
Thank
job.
you.
Collaboration,
Yeah.
trying to collaborate and make those opportunities for information to flow back and forth happen.
I wonder, you're absolutely right. I'm thinking while you're talking, Sam, I'm thinking that this happens all over. I mean, it's almost like there's this really thick dividing line between K-12 and higher ed. Why do you think that exists? Just out of curiosity. I mean, does higher ed feel like, well, K-12 is that's nice, but we've got this that we're dealing with, or the other way around where K-12 is like, yeah, that's great. You can pick whoever goes in your classes. We get everybody, right? So what is that? Why is that dividing line there?
I thought that going in, and I always wondered that myself. But I think the dividing line is because there are no opportunities for collaboration. And you take this conference or other conferences, for example, some of the conferences I've seen already in higher ed, they're completely different. I've never really heard of them
Yeah.
before. Uh, but there's several higher ed folks at this conference, and I think that's a way to create
Mm,
that collaboration in order for higher ed to see what K-12 is doing and vice versa, is come to something like this, hear from people like you that see the spectrum, and then be able to sit together at a table and share,
Right.
count numbers together like you guys just
yeah,
did,
yeah,
to be able to share and get to know who they are, and then you start to realize we got a lot in common.
Yeah.
And it's about teaching students, whether they're college age or they're K-12 age from elementary on up. There's a lot that goes into the classroom that can be shared and used no matter where you're teaching.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes back to like where we are now as a country. You're seeing more, um, I guess, pushback. I would say, against a 4-year degree, and more conversation around uh, college and career readiness. What does that look like? What kind of quote unquote product are our high schools putting out for college or the workforce or whatever? So in your space, in your experience, what do you see are the opportunities that K-12 has as far as getting students this college and career readiness, whatever that looks like, whatever that space looks like for kids?
And so many, and I talk about this all the time. My sessions are kind of going to that question now, as I take a look at what I'm going to be doing in the future. But I think I can safely say this: when we went to school and you went in and you met with a counselor in ninth grade, I was told, "Hey, if you want to do something in your life, you really need to get this 4-year degree.
4-year degree. Yeah,
We're here to talk to you as a ninth grader to start you on that path, but you need to go to college." Guys, we can't sit here and honestly say that's the most important thing anymore,
Hmm.
and just being aware of that and knowing that different strokes for different folks, depending on what the need of the student is.
Yeah.
Trying to identify that, what do you want to do in your future when you come into ninth grade, and then trying to help them build a pathway to get there. High schools and K-12 now have so many options. Putnam County, where I came from, is a leader in that, and we definitely can set them on the right path. And so I'll give you an example. Tennessee Tech is a strong engineering program in our town. So if a kid comes to us, let's say Cookville High School in ninth grade, and they say, I want to be an engineer. And okay, we say, well, all right, here's your future ready opportunities to get you to wherever you want to go.
Right.
And mechatronics, which used to be considered pretty much a CTE class.
Right.
And in the past, when we were talking in terms of college and career ready, students here college or career ready. And so they saw the CT classes. So, well, that's CTE. I don't want to do that.
That's different. Yeah.
But if I want to be a future engineer and want to go to Tennessee Tech and get educated there, would it not be great for me to sit in mechatronics class to know on the base level what employees do
Yeah.
in those areas? And so I think that's when you talk in terms of future ready, and I know you guys are involved with some future ready programs, but when you talk to kids in terms of future ready, it's okay, what do I want to do for my future? Yeah. And whatever it is, here's what you choose from to get there.
Yeah, those hands-on programs. There's some reports that have come out recently about kind of the dearth of people going into those fields of electricians and plumbers and this, and it's almost seen in the past. It's almost seen like It's like, oh, it's not, if you don't go to 4-year college, like you were saying, Sam. It's like we have to reframe that. And I think as lifelong educators, as the three of us are, it's kind of heresy to say maybe you don't need a 4-year college, but you know what? Maybe you don't. I mean, I've got a kid. She's a junior now, so next year she's going to go into Austin Community College, and I'm glad she's doing it because
Yeah.
and I've had neighbors come to me, oh, that's like they're sad. I'm like, why are you sad? Like, well, it's too bad that she's not
Yeah.
going to a 4-year. I was like, no, she's gonna figure out what she wants to do over the next 2 years, and then maybe she'll go to a 4-year, or maybe she'll go into the job field.
Yeah, and let me make this point too. Over the course of the time I've been working in Putnam County, which this was my 33rd year. So what I see now, students may decide to go to a technical college. They may decide to go to a junior college, but let's take the student that goes to the technical college and is able to get through whatever they want to do in a year. What happens is they go out and get a job, and if they're good at that job, then that company will send them to the 2-year.
Yeah.
And guess what? They don't have to pay anything.
They don't have the loan,
Yeah.
and all the money. Yes.
And same thing, if they get the 2-year and they stay with that company, chances are they're moving up.
Yep.
And when they move up, the company says, hey, would you like to go to Tennessee Tech and finish your degree? And then the next degree.
They
And,
invest
and
in them,
now
yeah.
a student started with 1-year technical school and got every cent of their school paid for. But they still get to the end result. It's just a little bit different how they're getting there.
It's just not the traditional. You got to go for 4 years, struggle those first few years as you party too much. Well, I'm talking about myself here, but yeah,
That's an interesting mind shift I think we're doing as a country, because once again, if you weren't going to college, people looked at you like a disappointment. It was like one of those things
Right.
like, oh, or your grade's not good, can you not afford it?
or
I
where
mean,
your degree came from used
yeah,
to be a big thing too.
yeah.
Oh, Harvard versus
And it's like,
Tennessee
okay,
Tech, right?
yeah, I have all this loan debt and I just wanted to be a teacher. Like, okay, you could have gone all these different schools, still got the same degree, still got your education, but without the debt. So
Right.
it's, and I love what you're saying, figuring out what the kid is interested in, what they want to be, and really having those conversations. We were in the vendor hall earlier,
Oh yeah,
and it had the flight simulator.
that was fun. Yeah,
And the cool thing is, like, okay, giving kids exposure to something like that, now they realize, oh, you know what? I maybe want to be a pilot. Because how many of our kids, honestly, may make it to their senior year and have never been on an airplane?
right.
That happens a lot.
Right.
And so getting exposure to a flight simulator program at an early age would give them that, I do want to be a pilot. I do want to do this, or air traffic controller, or
Which we have a shortage of
mechanic,
right now.
whatever it is
Yeah,
on airplanes. It's sparking that interest early, and then being able to have programs to nurture those throughout their academic career and have
Yeah.
that focus.
And a lot of the flight programs now start with drone certifications.
Yep.
And that right
drone
down there in
pilot.
Texas on the border, there's so many kids that are in high school that are being employed by law enforcement to run a drone because the folks just don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And that's their start. And a lot of these kids that started several years ago are now starting to get into those pilot classes and getting their pilot's license.
Yeah, shout out to McAllen ISD. Adam and I've been there before, and they had a drone program in their high school. Same thing, working on the border, working with Border Patrol, and just it was a cool thing. But again, it's giving kids that exposure.
Yeah.
And so before they get to your college, that's a big part of it.
Right.
So 33 years in education. You've done a lot. You've been through a lot. You've seen a lot. Sam had a full head of hair when he started in education.
I did.
And
And
one of
gone.
the things we like to ask our guests as we wrap up is, what's something over those 33 years, what's something you do to keep yourself undisrupted, to keep yourself balanced in life?
Man, I got to exercise. You know, I played college football at Tennessee Tech, and you get used to the grind and the expectation every day. And when I got out of that and I didn't have anything, I had to get back in the gym, man. So for me, it's getting in the gym. Of course, I like to fish. Don't very much hunt anymore. Um, Pickleball. I DJ.
DJs
Yeah,
too. I've seen him
DJ
DJ.
a little bit on the side, a couple of times a month. You know,
Yeah.
no more than that. But
Are
really
you, are
enjoy.
you DJing at this event?
I am.
Okay, there we go.
And what's
Yeah.
your DJ handle?
DJ7.
DJ.
That was my college number, so it was kind of easy to.
Easy to be. Yeah.
A funny thing when I started DJing was, you know,
6'7". No, DJ7, not DJ 6.
DJ7.
Yeah, DJ 6'7" would be.
You know, I got redshirt my first year, and I was sitting at home weekends with nothing to do. And believe it or not, at that time you couldn't make money when you played college.
Remember that free NIL? Yeah.
So anyway, I started DJing for the fraternities on the side, and that's how I got started.
Well, where can we find out more about you and the great work you're doing?
Well, I'm in transition now. At Ball State, I've just now got an email recently, but Ball State Community College, of course, they got at ballstate.edu is where you can find more information. But love going to the conferences, love doing sessions there. So maybe I can catch some folks on the trail as we go forward.
And you're on LinkedIn?
Oh, I am on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
Twitter, yeah.
Check them out on Twitter and LinkedIn, DJ7 or Sam Brooks.
Sam Bragg, yeah.
Thank you for joining us today. And thank you all for Ed, of course, for this amazing podcast. This is season 10, guys. We're doing this on the road. He's Adam, and you can follow him at AskAdam3.
And he's Carl, and you can follow him at Hooker Tech.
And remember,
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we are better together.
and we are better
Undisrupted.
undisrupted.